up, everyone? I'm Angela Simmons, and I'm here with my lovely co-host,
Marcus Damas. How y'all doing?
and this is Fueled by Purpose. Be sure to tune in. We got a lot of great things.
Absolutely.
I think it's cool that you two ladies have done business together before. So let's start there, and let's talk about the importance of Black businesses supporting Black businesses.
Oh, well, you want me to jump in?
I want Dana to get going.
I'm like, it's all you, baby.
I mean, if we can see each other fight, we can definitely see each other build one another up. You know what I mean? And I just feel like at this point in time in business, it is so freaking important that we don't just continue to see one person successful. And if there is enough information to go around for everyone, that we need to share it. My goal is to make sure that anyone I touch is doing better than when they first met me. So when there comes a point in time where I need a couple $1 million, I actually have friends to run and go find it from. You know what I mean? And so my point is, my goal is that it's a necessity. We can't keep doing this by ourselves anymore. You know what I mean? There can't be one family member who has money and then everyone is still broke. You know what I mean? And so it just happened we met maybe
A while ago, huh?
I
think we were
like
at a conference in Dallas. Was it that?
Oh my gosh, I'm so horrible.
It was so long ago. I think it was like we met there. I followed her because I loved what you were doing, because you were doing Sprinkle of Jesus at the time. Yeah. That was like your main focus. And then I just watched. I mean, I was watching how Dana was functioning, what she was doing. She's super dope. You know what I mean? And then I was like, you know what? I really like how you move, and I feel like I need to add an extension to my business like that. You know what I mean? And so we set the meeting. We sat down. It didn't take more than, they move quick. So if you want some apps or anything built, they move quick. We sat down. They came up with some ideas. I came up with some ideas. We came up with the name, and then Purpose happened. So how about that? This was birthed basically out of that, because it's fueled by purpose. And what's cool about it is she touches so many lives, but then I also get to come in and say, help other people find their purpose. You know what I mean? So it's like her extending her arm helped me extend my arm to do more. You know, and I feel like that's like one of her purposes and goals. And I watch what she does, and she builds so many people up. So I feel like that was super dope to be able to connect on that level.
You know, it's interesting though. Success has history. And I've been saying this lately because I feel like a bunch of millennials are like fighting to be like, oh, I'm self-made. I did it on my own. And that's not true. If you look at us, we're doing extraordinary things, but we've also been mentored by extraordinary people. If you were to ask, okay, Dana, how are you a multimillionaire at 25 years old? Angela, how are you so successful? And it just looks like things are just popping out of nowhere. That's because, one, we've been trained, and two, we've been guided. And I think that's really, really important for people to understand. So you sitting here screaming, oh, I'm self-made, I'm this, I'm that. That's nothing to be proud of. Especially in the Black community. Like, we should not be proud of being quote unquote self-made. That means that nobody helped you.
Right.
The key word, helped you. The first people to help you was your family. They're supposed to know enough information and knowledge to pass on to you so you can continue to get further, not start back at square one. And so it's interesting. We even go way back. Our fathers, our families have met before. And that's how deep it gets. And so success has history. I remember the first time we actually met was at a birthday party, and I had to be like 12.
That was my great-grandmother's house. Yeah. Because she hired her dad to come and do the magic and all that stuff. It was pretty cool, but that's crazy. Like, we were young. Wow. This wasn't even on our radar yet. We were like, oh, cool, just hanging, you know?
No. I wasn't on the radar. Shorty, you were Angela Simmons, okay? Like, you were Miss Pastry Queen, okay? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so I remember we were like, the first time we met was actually in a bouncy house together.
I remember.
And we were bouncing around, and but then that just testifies the reason why we met, and we even exchanged names, or we knew who each other was is because my dad was an entrepreneur, Uncle Magic, the hip hop magician, which then was hired by her family for a product or a service, which then we met. That didn't necessarily mean we had something to give one another, but our money was exchanged between families already. So we are just now the next generation who was fulfilling this legacy of continued entrepreneurship, and now we get to do it with one another. So it was kind of it's crazy, but it's freaking cool.
Like meant to be.
Yeah.
Last time we saw each other, you said something dope was like currency. Why do they call it currency? They talk about money staying in the community, staying within your community. That's a good example. But let's talk about did you guys think there would be a future in business together? Like, to collaborate in any way, like, because you guys just met organically, like you guys didn't intend to meet, but like that's just the power of network. Let's talk about network and how that's kind of got you to where you are today.
You like
we interviewed you.
Oh, okay.
Talking to you.
I would be doing myself a disservice if I said it wasn't an expectation. I do business very intentionally. That is the point. The point is to reel in people like Angela, reel in people who actually have something to say, something to share, and then build out their platform and give them whatever possible freaking resources that I have to exalt them. That's my job. That's what a business is to actually be useful. If you're not useful, you're useless. And so I'd be doing myself a disservice as if this was just by accident or I didn't plan it. Everyone's a plan. Every single conversation I have is a sale. Every single time that I meet someone that you sit here and book me for, or say, hey, I would love, it's a sale. You know what I mean? And I feel like some people are afraid to say how intentional they are with their business, as if it is a crime to say, bro, I'm only here because I'm here to sell you something. You know what I mean? But most importantly, what I'm selling is actually resourceful. Yep. And so I know where the mobile application game is going. We are the Wix to mobile apps. We are the new website builder to mobile applications. And the next, I still feel like why Angela was in such a good space to do this is I'm like, yo, last thing you want is to sit here and have to wait for a network, wait for someone to give you your popularity. Why not keep it for the rest of your life? Because when she owns her own platform, no one can take that away from her. So when we broke that down and explained to her how I may have 600,000 Instagram, 600,000 social media followers, but have access to 10 million people to talk to them and sell them whatever I want, it just made sense. This stuff just makes sense. Not everything is a scheme or a scam trying to no, it just makes sense. And we have to constantly be watching around us what's happening. I can order my food on an app. I can make an insurance claim on an app. I can order. Look what technology has made us so comfortable with. We were once afraid to get in the car with the stranger. An app made it okay and comfortable for us to literally say, I don't know this person, but because they partnered with this mobile application and they're on a platform that vouches for them, I'm going to go ahead and get in the car with the stranger long enough for them to do whatever, but I'm going to trust it. And we've adapted to it to the point where the actual taxi companies were taking them to local city court. That means technology being in the palm of our hands are so dangerous to these big networks, to our creativity, to whatever she wants to produce. You know what I mean? We're in different lanes. Her capability to produce content is on a whole different level than me. Now, for her to be able to control it at any point in time, that was just another notch on her belt that I knew that I could give her where she was.
Yeah, which is awesome. My question is, was there anything at any point particular that you knew your purpose? Like, what led you to your purpose, would you say?
I feel like you're constantly figuring that out.
Yeah.
I was a broken little girl who kind of didn't know what she was good at. The first thing your parents tell you to do is maybe go to school.
Right.
But then they tell you to go to school in something that you may not be gifted or talented in, which then there's so much resistance in your growth.
Right.
And so I really didn't know what my purpose is, to be honest with you. I feel like I'm constantly finding that out. Like when God gives you those like little like aha moments when you actually flourish in something that you feel good about. So I wouldn't say I knew my purpose to begin with. It's a constant progression. And especially I feel like it's constant progression when you grow through something. Like your purpose has changed ever since you became a mother.
Oh,
now you
different
have
ball game. Yeah,
you have absolutely women want to hear what you have to say and your advice and mirror you because you're an inspiration.
Right,
so your purpose has changed. But I know all of our purposes is to continue to give someone something to build off of.
Right.
And so that was the goal with Alakazam Apps, and making sure that we weren't left behind the 8 ball, because it seems like every single industry is either overtaken by Asians or overtaken by white people. So I knew that in the beginning, when Sprinkle of Jesus had went viral and started making a lot of moves and was making like $60,000 a month just off advertisement, I was like, yo, I need to tell as many people as this as possible, like quickly, because people are still slow to innovate and think that, oh, I need a website. So I just know my purpose is to rise up other families when it comes to entrepreneurship, and making sure that we have a financial foundation so that we're not stuck when these little things in computers take all of our jobs.
I'm telling you.
So I'm like terrified. Like, it was even an aha moment when Don was like reading an article, and they're literally replacing his job with the computer. And so now they're sticking these computers that with a call center where they can take multiple clients at one time from everywhere across the world. I say, yo, you gonna wait for that to happen, or you gonna actually do something about it? So yeah, family business.
I love that.
So definitely, like, as far as family, because you work closely with your husband
Every day.
every day. How does that affect the personal life?
This is our personal life. A lot of the time, people try to fit entrepreneurship into their life instead of allowing their life to be entrepreneurship. And so people think it's a little weird, or like, I immediately hear like, oh my gosh, I would go crazy if I was around my husband or my wife every single day. And I'm like, we make money together, we break generational curses together, and quite frankly, we enjoy each other's company. This is fun for us. I've never been so freaking happy in my life seeing my family's face every single day.
That's awesome.
What are the challenges of that? Do other people not understand boundaries, or do other people not understand the dynamic of, like, this is my family, this is my wife, this is my husband?
That's good. I really like that question, Marcus, because it prompts me to answer it. We don't have the same goals. And maybe if your goals changed and you guys understand the common denominator between all of you, how y'all gonna call each other annoying? I'm just saying. You go to work every day and look at the person next to you that don't even know you, who don't care about you, who don't love you, who would be willing to rat you out or give you up if it was their job every single day. But you sit next to them every single day, strategize, working a plan because you're dedicated to a 9-to-5. So are you dedicated enough to generational wealth? I tell people that all the time. You obviously may not have the same goals. I'd rather look at my family every single day, be mad at them, frustrated and angry, but know that they're good for the rest of their life. Come on, like, it doesn't make sense. And so I would 100% encourage every single person to reevaluate what's annoying to them and what gets on their nerves, because nothing more annoying and irritating is broke. We all frustrated when we don't got money. You feel me? But no, it's interesting. I will tell you a story. Let's talk challenges for a second.
Let's do it.
Let's talk a challenge for a second. This conversation that I run in my head all the time with Don. Oh, it was a challenge. I remember we were on our way actually to New York, and I was recording something, and it's actually going to be the first time I created content with him, like on somebody else's platform. Does that make sense? So we were essentially creating content, and we were the spectators or the podcasters on somebody else's content. And so we're sitting in the car and we're talking, we're strategizing. What are we going to talk about today? What's the goal? See how intentional? What business is it that we want to promote today? Are we going with Jumping Jack Tax? Or this is more a technology podcast. Let's talk about Alakazam Apps. So we're strategizing our conversation. And he looks at me, just chill, nonchalant, is like, yeah, so when we go, can you just like chill a little bit? I said, what? He said, like, just chill. Like, just chill. I said, what does that mean, Don? And he was like, let me talk. Like, just, I said, Don, hold on, wait a second. I'm a little confused. I said, please correct me if I'm wrong. I said, And Ben is right there. He'll tell you he was right there the entire. He was acting like he was asleep. So this turned into a screaming match. But I think it's important for couples to know, especially when you have extraordinary women that you're dating. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, what do you mean by that, Don? Like, chill. Like, one, this is who I am. And if I have a fire up in my stomach, I'm going to get it out. And he said, well, you know, all right. I said, are you trying to tell me to suppress whatever excitement or passion that I have so that I don't overshadow yours? And he said, basically, yeah. And he said, you know, I'm going to be on this podcast with you. I just want to, you know, I want to shine too. I said, but your shine should never be contingent on the lack of mine. And we got in a huge argument about it. Like, I mean, talking full-blown screaming match. I'm like, how could you tell me? Like, this is how I got here. Like, don't forget that this passionate girl is the one who requested you leave your job and made sure that she took care of you. Until you grew to be an entrepreneur. Until you learned the necessary steps and the leadership roles. I'm that same person. And, you know, once again, I was raised by a monster. My dad is crazy. So when he gave me confidence, he left it with me. It's something that can never be taken away from me. So I was a little frustrated. And to be honest, I was hurt. The man that loved me the most just asked me to almost dumb it down or make myself smaller to make him feel comfortable. And so we're in this screaming match. He didn't understand. And we're going back and forth. And he's like, I don't know. I don't want to speak for him. But just know it wasn't a good situation. And I remember the last thing I said because I started crying because I was just so upset and so frustrated. And I was screaming at him. And I don't desire to talk to my husband like that. You know, I just, that don't feel good. If I wouldn't do it in public, I don't want to do it in private. And I said to him, and I left him with this. I said, Don, I said, would you ever tell our daughter, which we don't have yet, I said, would you ever tell our daughter that she couldn't be Barack Obama, President of the United States of America? He said, no. I said, respect me like your wife, but love me like your daughter. And don't ever tell me to dumb down myself because I'm going to be a disappointment to you because I'm not doing it. And those are things that, one, when you're dealing with an extraordinary woman, or two, you're dealing with entrepreneurs, we're in a constant fight to be our best. And sometimes those lines can be crossed, especially we just have to constantly remind that we're fighting the same cause, not fighting each other. And that was it. What I would say was like a really, really changing point in our relationship because it was the first time that I was no longer, what's the word? I don't want to say better. He was no longer someone that worked for me, but someone who was now working with me in public spaces. So now we were a team. And so we had to adjust the way we did teamwork together. Yeah. And so at first, of course, when your ego's involved, when men have insecurities too. I don't know why they don't admit it and just work on them.
Of course they do.
But he was insecure about his place next to me. And so it was my job to lift him up and make sure he didn't break me down in the process.
That's powerful. I mean, and I love how you handled it. You know what I mean? Like you told him how you felt and then you guys, you know, you recovered from it, obviously. You're husband and wife. It happens. Yeah, he's still You're going to fight.
I went home with him.
Right. Like you're like, all right, so we argued and we're sitting next to each other. Now what? You talked about a daughter. Do you guys want to build a family? What do you think? What do you think about that? Do you want a kid?
I want like 9. He
really?
said he'll only give me 3.
You want to birth 9 kids or you want to adopt some too? Like straight up?
It's all up to God, I guess. But I was pregnant last year and had a miscarriage. Mm-hmm. And what's so interesting, and this is a good, I'm going to change my way to you real quick. Let's talk about this. I had a miscarriage and I think it was a weird feeling. I can't really say what I felt. I think it was almost a little taboo too because I'm Puerto Rican. My ovaries are supposed to work till I'm 60 years old.
They're strong, baby.
Right? And when it happened, I was like, what the heck just happened? Like, I don't understand. And it was like, for the first time in my life, it was actually like once again, a God moment, aha moment where, okay, we're married. Like, we did it the right way. We actually have financial freedom where we could actually take care of a child. Like, this was something that we finally did all the way right that our family has never seen before. My mom had me at 15 years old. Wow. in the projects. Like my dad used to sell drugs to her mom. That's how they originally met. Like in my mind, when I looked at him and told him that I was pregnant, this was like a good thing.
Amazing,
Like
right?
it was not something that I had to hide. And we both know people who've been in situations where they were terrified at that little thing turning
course.
blue or the one line. And so I wouldn't necessarily, it was planned, but when I had the miscarriage, we went to one doctor's appointment. I was bleeding a little bit. He was like, oh, it's like totally normal. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
'cause it
that's
happens.
normal a little bit, especially when you just got pregnant. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I remember we were on our way to Houston.
Mhm.
And I had told my dad, and we had already told his mom.
Mm-hmm.
She did all the crying, blah, 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 whatever, right? She was super excited. But we had to finish our Christian entrepreneur tour.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on tour, and then all of a sudden, it just got so bad. Like the bleeding got so bad. I'm like, okay, this probably
It's not
isn't
right.
normal. And so we were actually at the aquarium eating dinner, and I was like, guys, I'm tired. I'm going to go. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell Don because I was like kind of freaking out inside. And I remember getting back to the hotel room, and I just laid there, and I called my doctor. He answered the phone. He was like, hey, run to the emergency room just to make sure
man.
it's done the right way. And things aren't like, you know, left in your body and stuff like that. So I text my mother-in-law, and I was like, yo, I'm having a miscarriage. I'm going to go to the doctor's. She was like, did you tell Don yet? And I'm like, no, I'm just waiting for him to get here. And so she was like, I'm telling him right now. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Oh.
So she calls him, and he comes. And at 1:00 in the morning, we head over to the emergency room. Sitting there, you guys know how ERs are. Sitting there for
Busy.
freaking ever. And they confirmed that I was having a miscarriage, but it would have to pass by itself. And they basically gave me, once again, this is stuff that no women talk about. So they think it's weird or unnormal.
Yeah,
or
they don't
like,
talk about it.
or like they make it taboo. And so I remember the next morning I had to perform. People were counting on me, and I couldn't let the death of one spirit remove the opportunity to bring so many more alive when it came to, you know, building up their families. And so I was like actively miscarriaging while up on stage, people telling
Wow.
people, teaching people about business and how to build their family and build generational wealth. And I just remember the last moment, this may be too much for the guys in the room, but
get over it.
women like totally like, guys, sometimes a miscarriage can just be chalked up to things not being perfect. Like a pregnancy, despite it seeming so easy, it has to be perfectly aligned, and it will completely essentially delete itself if it's not ready, if it's not right, if it's not perfect. And basically there was no baby in the amniotic sac for me.
Oh, wow.
So it came a point in time after the workshop, I went into the hotel room, and it deleted itself. And
Wow.
literally could like see it in my hand. Like it was
That's
psycho crazy.
insane.
But for me, I just wanted to make sure he was okay, because men never talk about that. And I know that, once again, it was something, we've never done it like this before. Our families are so broken that we were the first marriage our family has ever seen.
Wow.
The first wedding little kids were ever dancing at. We did it the right
amazing.
way. And so for him, I just wanted to make sure
He was all right.
I was okay with it, because I'm like, I'm a woman. Like, I know how this happens. I know how this works. It is a lie from the pit of hell to saying that I ain't gonna birth kids. I'm gonna just let you know that right now. I'm gonna have many. And so I just wanted to make sure he was okay. And so I kind of just made sure like he was emotionally okay, and we talked about it. And we probably gonna get ready in a couple months. So
That'll be amazing.
Yeah.
What would you say to like other women who are that go through miscarriages? You know, like I know a lot of times it does happen. Like you're strong and you're great with your faith and everything, but a lot of times I see women are, you know, like they get super emotional about it, or
Yeah.
like they don't talk about it. You know what I mean? It happens and they just move on, and you know. But like, what would you say to the woman who has went through a miscarriage or keeps having multiple? You know,
Yeah.
and they are trying to get pregnant. You know, what advice would you give to them?
definitely go see a doctor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's that's one of the things I feel like we try to self-diagnose all the time what's wrong with our bodies. But most importantly, before that, and this is just with life, but if there's a trial that is consistently happening in
Yeah.
your life, number one thing that I encourage women to do, you're going to feel dumb doing it, you're going to feel stupid doing it, but do it anyway. Any thought in your mind that literally is deposited into your brain that is contrary from the word of God, write it down, rip the piece of paper out of the book, ball it up and say, this is a lie and I do not have to submit to it. And when you start training your mind to not be manipulated and controlled by the enemy, bro. And I think that's the number one thing, because the reason we don't talk to nobody is, oh my gosh, I don't want anybody to know. Is something wrong with me? The enemy's trying to reconfigure your strategy and your thought process to run from God instead of run to him and to the people he serves. That can help. And so literally anytime you know something is not true, if it's not contrary to the word of God, oh, you're dumb, or you're not smart, you are small, you are insignificant, your body does not work the way the Lord told. Because that's what the enemy was telling me, right? If I'm continuing to be sad and soap and fight for freedom of the manipulation of the enemy, those are just lies. And so for me, very, very important, ladies, I would just, with anything in your life or a trial that consistently keeps showing up, write it down. Then rip it out of, this is not true. So it's not going to live in my mind or my heart. But that's the thing. The enemy wants us to stay isolated. He wants to stay alone so he can torment us. And for me, I have so many people dependent on me. If I'm tormented, that is only going to distribute to them. And they don't deserve that from me. I understand I go through things. I have to be patient. I have to self-care about myself. But sometimes self-care is a lot more strategic in spiritual warfare than it is just getting through it.
Yep. You're right about that.
So I want to bring it back a bit, because I don't think the audience of Fueled by Purpose they don't know Don really well, and you kind of, like, for the people in the room, everybody knows Don. So I know, one, he's a super professional. He's an engine of his own. What he did with Jumpin' Jack Tax. Let's kind of go back for the male audience, so they know, like, the positives that Don has done for the business. And not only that, how strong he is to deal with the A-type, like a strong personality. Like that's not something that's small. That's not a small accomplishment. So let's talk about that a bit.
What do you want to know?
I want to know, how.
Be direct. Go ahead. What you want to know?
No, I think it's dope. I just kind of want you to share with the audience, like, how important it is for men to sometimes empower their women to be as strong as they are, like the importance of that for women.
Well, once again, it shouldn't be just about spouses. Don may be my husband, but he's also my family. He is my father's son, my sister's brother, my brother's brother. And so it's not so more about, oh, don't suppress your sister or don't suppress your wife or anything like that. But most importantly, we've been trained and built up like warriors to play whatever position necessary for us to win. And so if that includes someone at the moment having the spotlight, then that's what's necessary. And then what we know is the spotlight keeps on moving to somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's always someone's time. And at this point in time, for the first, I would say, I have a lot more history and I've accomplished more so far. So at this point in time, people have to respect the Kim Kardashian. If you realize, all of them respect Kim because they know she's the socialite that brings and funnels in and distribute business to everybody else. Yep. The family knows my gifts, my talents, and my ability. They know that I'm the mouthpiece to the family. And Don respects that. We haven't just been trained to be spouses, and that's a whole nother conversation itself. I'm so grateful that my father was there in his life to treat him how to love a woman like me. I'm blessed. My husband is the man that he is today because he had another black man instill love into him. And for that, he can love me. And for that, he can love the rest of our family. Yeah. And now he is prepared that when my father dies, to make sure that he is the pillar of this family. But most importantly, it's, when it comes to family unity, I'm going to do whatever is possible to build my family up, put us in position, distribute wealth, and make sure every single family member is extending out their hand and distributing wealth to other families. And so for me and for him, that was a great story and an example of something that we dealt with internally, but it was also brought to the entire family. And we talked about it. You may think, oh no, you keep that to yourself. No, that ain't something to keep to ourselves. Because my sister could feel that about me. My other sister could feel that about me. My business partner could feel that about me. The enemy just used Don at the moment. But don't get it twisted. The people around us that love us, the enemy's looking around, prowling like a lion in order to use people's selfishness and ego to destroy everything around them. So we bring that stuff to the family, and the reason he is the man he is today and can be with a woman like me who was also bred by the same family is because we stick together as a family. We correct one another in love. There is no division. There's no, oh, she felt that way or that negative thinking. No, that was brought to the entire family, and we talked about it. We talked about it so much that when we brought that conversation to the family, guess what my dad said? I told you. Didn't I warn you about that spirit, Don? Didn't I warn you about that? How many times is things told to us by our parents, but we still get God? And Don said, you did tell me about that. You did. You did tell me. And so if anyone's listening, I just encourage, if you really building generational wealth, and especially if you are the chosen one and the glue that brought your family back together, you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of personal life because your life is supposed to be an example. And our marriage is an example. We actually are the oldest. Well, he has an older sister. We are the oldest. I'm the oldest of 8 or 9. I can't remember anymore. I hope my dad ain't having more kids. I don't even know no more. But we are an example. And most importantly, people are looking up to us and want to stand by us and with us. And so it's not just about him being my spouse, but him being able to be a strong person in this world in a world looking to destroy him. And that I was just the sacrificial lamb to be emotionally distraught by that because it was my husband. But don't get it twisted. That was a lesson he needed to learn for every area of his life. Even in the future, we're dealing with other business people, is when he feels like he has less than, or he hasn't had much accomplished. What does he feel like? Does he rise to the occasion, or does he become small? And so he rose to the occasion. It was a test. He passed. It was a life test. He finally passed. I was willing to take the burden because that's what family does. We fight for each other. If you need to learn on me, cool.
Right. I would say, as a woman who's dominating her industry, what challenges do you face as a woman, in the industry? And, what would you say? You need me to repeat it? Oh.
I love this question because I feel like I'm very sensitive to the fact, and I was actually just having a conversation with Coco and Breezy, and they talked about this idea of, looking for investors. They're at this point in time. Shout out to them. They're freaking awesome. And they've spoken to me about going into meetings and having these stories about not being respected, or when you're in a corporate setting, you'll be looked over despite having any type of knowledge. You'll always be looked at as a talent immediately before people know. And so for me, once again, my confidence was built up in a whole different way because guess what? Every single man in my life submitted to me. So it was foreign. It was weird. And I'm explaining to you when it got weird. So it didn't register. I didn't feel like I was in a place where my voice didn't matter because I was the exact one helping build the business. It was my mind, my brain, my knowledge, my input, my advice to this idea of what is it that we're going to do. My strategy helped build a multi-million-dollar brand. So I felt like I was almost in this pretend bubble of I didn't understand really, or I understood, but I never felt it. That's two different things. You know how when you actually see something, or something happens, but the first time you felt it. And I remember one time, we have a consult, right? He comes in, he's actually in the music industry, and not to brag, but I built an app with over 10 million people with no outside investors. I did the damn thing. That is unheard of. We grew faster in the first year than Facebook grew in theirs. I must know something. If I had the capability of getting together a group of people that had a common goal, directed them from a social media platform, went ahead, got them on a private platform, and then made millions off of them, offering other products and services that they did not know that I own. That's pretty damn strategic, if you ask me. And I'm sitting there. He specifically came in from my content. He called. My content is what reeled him in. He wanted to have a meeting. He sits in my office, and every single time I spoke, he interrupted me. But Don and my dad were in the console, right? Every single time, mind you, I'm up there giving him a presentation, giving him a strategy of how he can finally own his own music. He just start his own damn streaming stuff. Or why not? Why isn't he locking his artists up into a contract where the streaming rights all go through his platform? This is something that he needs. Anybody in the music industry needs to know.
Everyone should be doing.
You know, everybody should be doing. We're watching it successfully happen. And literally, I'm breaking down the why, the how, the monetization strategy. I'm getting to the money real quick. Interrupts me. Literally has a rebuttal or a question to every single thing that I say. I immediately sensed what was going on, that he just didn't want to hear it from me. All right, I'll play the game. Okay. Because at the end of the day, it's just about the money to me. I'm just trying to get paid. I'm just trying to make, and I said this with Coco and Breezy when we were creating content together, is changing someone's heart comes from repetition. And so me sitting in this one meeting and running you down and telling you, no, you better, it was going to be a waste of my time, especially when I needed a check from you. So I looked over at Don. I caught my eyes at him. He already knew what to do. I stepped back and let him take over the meeting. Immediately, without a hitch, they respected everything he just said. And my notes were on the board. Don just regurgitated everything I freaking said. And he listened. That was my first experience in men not respecting women as much as men in the same room.
So would you say you, instead of like falling victim to that, you say, I'm not going to even bother. I'd rather just change the person it's coming from, like the narrative, like instead of stepping up? Or do you feel like if it was in another room, like how would you take that if they weren't there? You know what I mean? Like how do you play that? I want to know, I guess I'm asking for the women out there that when they step into those meetings, and they don't have, let's say, their husband or like somebody in their corner like that, what should they do? You know what I mean? Like, I think I can think of times where I've been around people where you're like, okay, they don't respect me. To me, I'd rather take the L because someone else is gonna, you know what I mean? Like respect me, and I'm gonna wind up where I am supposed to be, period. So that's kind of how I play it. But I know that there are a lot of women out there that say they go in these big boardroom meetings and the men are not respectful to them. And you have to have a man next to you. So you're like, well, how is that equal? How is that right? You know?
The key to bring something to the table that they need. And once again, that's just strategic business.
Right. So
you've even done it now.
Right.
Because you have such a powerful entity that is required by people to make money, they're going to have to listen to you. They're going to have to, because right now I can say with the click of a button, I can speak to 10 million people and make them buy whatever I want and listen to whatever or watch whatever. Then find someone else who can do that. What, you want to find a social media famous person? They can barely sell 10 t-shirts, even with 1 million followers, because it don't work that way. And so what I've realized is my best strategy is already have done my work before I got to the table. Yes. And so a lot of people get to a table and are negotiating their value. You can't negotiate my value if I have it. I have it. It's not based on me. It's not me based on how good I think I am or how smart I think I am. I have power. And that's the number thing that these women, anybody listening, walk in with power that can be undisputable. Walk in with power that cannot be taken away. Walk away with power. Walk into it with power. And most importantly, walk into a meeting with something no one can take away if you walk away from the table. So you're not begging or scratching or begging for something to be an outcome. You're still going to make it happen regardless. And so when we build our own platforms and we literally have the strength to mass communicate in a way that social media doesn't even give us, because One, they pay for us. They make us pay to reach just our followers we've already accumulated. I mean, we brought the followers, we brought the likes, we brought the likes,
I tell you,
all of that.
And then they control how many people can see it.
Absolutely.
So you got 6 million followers and only, let's let 200,000 see it today.
Absolutely.
So having your own platform, like what Dana's saying, is like, it's so much power in that.
You've taken back
now you
power.
have your own people. Now everyone who really genuinely follows me because they love me, let's boom, like you said.
But most importantly, no one can censor you or tell you how many times you can and cannot do something.
Facts.
Because I own my own platform. Think about this, guys. And I'm giving y'all game. Like, take it, please, have it. I don't care. Just do it. My point is just do it. Don't sit here and let me explain something. You don't do it. We sit here, built Sprinkle of Jesus. We use social media as a commercial reel. We went ahead and sent everybody to Sprinkle of Jesus. Now we house a platform with over 10 million people. We said, what the heck are we going to do about this? If I was on social media, if I wanted to start a new business, what would I have to do? Start all the way from the bottom again. So what does Dana Chanel do? She takes Sprinkle of Jesus and she becomes the biggest advertiser on Sprinkle of Jesus with every single brand new business. From the Earn company with credit repair, then we have Alakazam Apps, and then we have CurlBible, which is an online beauty supply store, and then we have Jumping Jack Tax when it comes to getting your taxes done. We created need-based businesses where we wouldn't have to start on social media with a brand new at zero Instagram page with followers and then pay for promotion to even get it out there. We leveraged, sent out a push notification about that business, sent out a push notification about credit repair. Christians need good credit too. Get your credit fixed with the Earn company. Boom. Immediately we had thousands and thousands and thousands of inquiries, which turned into leads, which leads turned into actual profit. It's something that can't be taken away from us. But if you are only putting your business on social media, you are legit. Your business is homeless. And most importantly, you don't make the rules up in your own home. Because last time I checked, they just announced they were getting rid of likes. Who told you could do that? Without consulting everybody who built your damn platform. Who told you could do that? They don't care. It's not your house. Somebody walk in your house and you tell them to take off their shoes. They said no. What you gonna do? You gotta go.
Bye-bye.
You gotta go. So we have to create power and actually leveraging all the communication that we get from these social media platforms that's building us up.
That's I think the biggest question for me is, so you've built your audience and you continue to drive your audience from social media or Instagram to, is that the where you're directing them to your Instagram or the applications that you built?
Applications. We have a rule in the family. If you mention your Instagram, Twitter, or social media name, you get fined $5,000 every time we catch you do it. It doesn't pay us. So every single time you're on a platform, a podcast, a TV commercial, every single time you are on a show, you have to direct everybody, give people a direction, a call to action, and that's to check out your app store on Google Play and Apple and download the Sprinkle of Jesus app, Jumping Jack Tax app. Every single one of our companies have a mobile application, knowing that the demographics are going to be very different. Sprinkle of Jesus has a demographic of under the age of 27. Okay. Jumping Jack Tax. A lot of people in your 20s, they're not doing their taxes. Okay. So everyone over the age of 30 is our best core demographic. Credit repair. You usually don't care about your credit until it's a problem, which means you're trying to get a car, you're trying to get a house, and you need your credit fixed. Boom. That demographic is over the age of 28 years old. So we're constantly building little armies in different little areas, but we make sure that we have a mobile application and a platform for us to build on.
So quick question. So you're often giving advice. You're also often, giving your opinion. Who are you learning from? Who are you seeking advice from?
The world. It's something that we take for granted. And I'm afraid that if you just shut up, sit back, and watch what other people are doing, you would learn a lot. Guys, I'm not a genius. I'm just strategic and I move quickly. But by all means, I'm not a genius. I'm not smart. I didn't go to college. I just learned from dummies.
You are smart though.
I'm just basing this information off of what I've seen and what I see, how other people move and what I see other people do. It's not hard. Like, this world is school. You don't got to go to get a degree to learn how to be an extraordinary entrepreneur. You even now have that thing called the internet, where they quick to break down a business. I'll give you want me to analyze one for you right now?
Absolutely.
WeWorks. They're idiots. In the beginning, he knew that one of his biggest overhead expenses was going to be rent. How can you be the number one co-working space in Manhattan and own none of the property when you should have repurposed all the profit to start engaging and buying your own property, which means that no one would be able to kick you out. You know what's happening now? The company is going to and I would use another word, but I'm trying not to curse anymore, you know? It's all hell has broken loose. They've needed a buyout. They've needed a favor. They've needed help. Why? Because income isn't coming in the way that it's supposed to, and the overhead expense is so high because not only are their overhead expense just payroll, let's just keep that a being, not just payroll, but now it's rent everywhere that they have no control over. And now these people in these buildings, this Manhattan building or anywhere in the world, in the country, is getting frustrated with them because they thought they were a promising company. It's a commercial business, not a small business. It's an extraordinary business that could only last for years. But now they're having money problems. They're having cash flow problems, which means they can't keep up with the demand of their rent roll. Dana, you're watching that happen. What just happened? Dana, listen. What did you see? Okay, they were building a company, but nothing was there. So that means they kept paying for it. So what would happen if we just go ahead and instead of buying a bunch of buildings, buying a bunch of jumping jack tax offices, what if we actually owned the property that we were in? That means we'd never be able to be kicked out. Most importantly, if we weren't kicked out, that also means that no one is the controller of our equity, because honestly, they have no equity. That's why they're having a cash flow problem, because if they were having an issue, they could silently end their problems by just brushing off some of the properties. Dana, how do you use that? Dana, what do? You're opening jumping jack tax offices. What was that red flag? What was that siren? Do not build your business contingent on somebody else's equity that you have no control over. So Dana, what you're going to do is, even if the grind is slower, even if you have to move a little bit slower than everybody else, what you're going to do is you're going to acquire every single property that your business is in. And then that way, instead of now only renting, and that was the only way you was making money, Dana, make sure you buy commercial property that has the commercial space below, and then you have apartments so that if the business goes down, the rent roll up top is still paying for the entire mortgage. Okay, Dana, where the heck did you learn that? You didn't go to real estate school. Dana, you didn't go to marketing school. I just watched what happened, and we have to learn from dummies. When you see a mistake happen, you learn from it. You think I got to touch fire to realize it's hot? No, I'm going to just see that your hand got burnt, and you left with a scar, and you can't touch nothing for the rest of the day.
Right.
So literally, I watched that happen. I was like, and so I started researching. I started looking for other companies who own the property that they sit on. Lo and behold, one of the most extraordinary fast food chains in the country. McDonald's is not a fast food company. They are a property company. They are a real estate company. They actually own every single property that they live on. They own the land. Wow. All right. So I saw the mistake. I came with a thesis of how I would fix it. And then I went to look to see if anybody else had done it. And they did it successfully, which means my odds of success is pretty damn good. And then when I turn it flip, if something goes wrong, if something goes bad, I know that at least my family will always have somewhere to live because we have too many properties that are already paid off. So while I don't have a cash flow problem and it's rolling in and this social media stuff is popping, once again, we never know when it's going to take a turn. We never know when they're going to come out with a new platform. We have to all start all over again. I combated that with the mobile apps, and now I combat my family's lifestyle and the way that we live by making sure that we have properties everywhere so that God forbid if something happens, if there's a death in the family, we don't know what happened. Life is two things, short and unpredictable, but it's more unpredictable than it is short. And so I know that God forbid, let's say my father's a huge part of this. When he's ready to die, he's already prepared us. You need some extra cash to hold y'all off, extra to adjust of like my marketing side of it or my brain. Yo, you got $600,000 right there. Outside of life insurance, because we got that too. But it's those things as if you guys have to ever adjust or pivot financially, at least you know you'll never be homeless. And that is the number one thing, especially when you got kids. you can't be homeless. Like, we can't fall that far. And so we've essentially created safety nets around every tier of success so that if we lose, the safety net will catch us. So we're not falling all the way down to the bottom again, where we'd go homeless, we'd go broke. I hear stories all the time where they had nothing. They had to move back in with their parents. Well, you had it rolling in. We're going to go ahead, acquire properties in cash, make sure that they paid off so that, God forbid, if anything happens, we have safety nets. And so now every single person, the wolf pack at the office, they'll never have to ever worry about somewhere to live ever in their life, because that is going to be the minimum. That is our minimum, that we are staying in properties we own. That's the minimum. That's as broke as we can get, is we have equity in a property that we don't have to pay rent in. That's the minimum.
That's smart. I mean, so discipline is a word that you use often. What advice would you give someone looking to attain discipline in their life? And you're really disciplined.
I wish there was an answer to that. Discipline is completely contingent on your want and your needs.
Yeah.
You get real disciplined when you lose your job. You get real disciplined when, God forbid, your child go up in the hospital. Their insurance don't cover it. You get real disciplined and go start to find other jobs. You're real disciplined when your man cheat on you and leave the house and you got to fend for yourself. You get real disciplined when you don't got nothing to your name. I just encourage, don't wait for that to happen. There's nothing I can say. I can't encourage you to be disciplined, because at the end, I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna go home to my house. I can't watch what you're doing on your own time.
Not at all.
So if your circumstance and you seeing where your family done came from, that don't make you disciplined, ain't nothing I can say to you. And so people think that there's this answer to discipline. The answer is you. The answer to my next blessing is me. The answer to my children's generational wealth is me. I ain't waiting for nobody else to do that, because I'm not sure if they're going to have care or enough discipline. I know that I got it. I know what I'm capable of. But most importantly, something that helps that thing called discipline is progress.
Mm-hmm.
When you finally start seeing progress, you get motivated. You're like, wow, this is working. And so just stay in the game long enough to see progress, because it's coming and it's there. Y'all remember seeing the picture on social media where it's like the diamond was right there and all he had to do was like 2 more chops.
I know what you're talking
You know what I'm talking about? And so for me, I got nothing to lose. Like, don't have a college degree. If I were to give you guys a resume, I would not be qualified to work for you. Like, you know what I mean? This is all that I have. And if me sitting in a 2-bedroom apartment with 5 brothers and sisters and a single mom, and she literally was like keeping the oven open to keep the apartment warm, or me having to wear my little sister's shoes, like, if that's not enough, like, bro, you don't deserve nothing. Go ahead, live your regular life. Go ahead, get a 9-to-5, be comfortable. That's perfectly fine. Don't feel like you have to become anything that you're not. If you are not an entrepreneur, well, to me, entrepreneurship and leadership are synonymous. You can't be an entrepreneur and but not be a leader. Mm-hmm. Because in order to build something, you need people to believe in you and to help you fight for your vision. So if you are not a leader, I 100% encourage, find someone you believe in that you think is dope. There are people out here like Angela. There are people out here like Dana. There are people out here like Don. We're young. We're making it happen. We have tenacity. We're great with leadership. Find someone you believe in and just help them make it happen. Do your very best. Play your role. Be a part of, get your ring. Despite sitting on a bench, get your ring. By all means necessary. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to be a leader. Don't force yourself to be something that you don't have a natural knack for, because you'd constantly be struggling, comparing yourself to other people in the lane you were attempting to win, and you'd end up feeling defeated. And most importantly, it'd be like telling a fish to climb a tree and a monkey to swim. Mm-hmm. You're gonna look dumb, but you're not dumb. You're just doing the wrong thing. And that's why I was talking about like college. I feel like it's so toxic at the same time to encourage kids to go to school just to go, because they're the ones going to be upset, depressed, angry in their dorm room, wondering why this isn't working, wondering why they're not happy, why they're not passionate, when the first school was the household. Every parent, my father, we started our relationship at 19, but he immediately was looking at me, staring at me. Okay, I see she's good with her hands. I see that she can configure, she can manipulate technology to do what she wants. You know what? You're gonna make websites. I'm sitting here fighting that. I don't want to make websites. Like, I'm Dana Chanel. Why would I make websites for somebody? Like, I don't need to. My ego was at an all-time high. That's what social media do to you. It makes you feel like you're more important than you really are. I'm like, why would I do websites for somebody else? He said, shut up. I said, all right. Y'all know Uncle Magic. He just said, shut up. I said, all right, whatever. Sit there. He said, I see that you're a chameleon. I see that you can get up and talk. He said, but you're afraid. You get that little thing in your stomach, that little eerie feeling in your stomach when you get super, super nervous. And he said, I need to get that out of you. He made me go interview the firemen and the police and city council. I was terrified. He made me preach in the middle of New York City. He made me preach to little 6-year-olds until I got that feeling out of my stomach. And look at me today. Your parents are supposed to be the very first people who identify your gifts and your talents and train you in them and then send you to school because it's a requirement. You gonna go to jail. But it's just very, very important that we just be very careful of what is it that we're encouraging people to do, knowing that it just may be that very thing that makes them angry, upset, frustrated, and make them feel insignificant because they're not good at it.
What have you, so as far as like, you and your family, well, you and your husband, from what most see on social media, you guys embrace vulnerability. Like, what do you encourage your audience? What do you encourage women, men? Like, what has vulnerability done for you, for your family, and what can it do for them?
It's built 5 successful multi-million-dollar businesses. Stories sell. Journeys sell. Maybe people who do social media don't want to tell you, but if you look back at the history and the lineage of my social media journey, you'll realize that every journey is attached to a new business. Because people like to follow you through. People like to feel that they have a piece or and they're able to learn and to watch people grow through things. And so if you realize when it came to Sprinkle of Jesus, obviously, that journey was getting to know my faith. I allowed people to walk through that with me. I allowed people to see that vulnerable point of me not knowing. Like, I'm pissed. I'm pissed that my mom didn't have a conversation with me that having sex before marriage was a sin. I'm pissed. I've given to my body to multiple men and didn't even know what I was dealing with. I didn't know that there was anything like not sexually transmitted disease, spiritual transmitted diseases. Like, I didn't know this stuff. I didn't know that I was taking on burdens and spirits. I didn't know this. So I'm sitting here just going through life trying to figure it out, but I was willing to do it in front of other people. It built Sprinkle of Jesus. Then I went through this journey of people are seeing now. It took me 3 years before I started to hire anybody, that I started making people part of my team. People are now seeing this journey of leadership from me. People are watching how I keep the family together, or watching how, I discipline or reprimand or give consequences out or build people up in the midst of building something extraordinary. It is a beautiful story to watch. I built CurlBible. People didn't know. I went through my natural hair journey because I was prepping my following to finally buy beauty products from me. How does a girl go from selling Bibles to selling deep conditioner? It doesn't make sense. So I naturally was going through I wanted my curly hair back. So I said, well, I'm sitting here. I'm about to go ahead and be using all these products, and people like to see my life on social media. I might as well go ahead and go get a contract, because I'd be wasting my time. I'd be wasting my time and wasting product. But guess what's interesting, Angela? Reached out to like 6 of those major big companies we know of. And guess what they did? No answer. That was when CurlBible was built. Everyone said no to me, Angela, by just not answering. We know that that's the same thing.
It means
don't
no.
sit there and lie and say you didn't see my thing. You know my page. You know who I am. I DM'd. I emailed the founders, everything.
Nothing.
No, not one person reached back out to me. I said, you know what? And that's when it clicked. What's the point of trying to be the store in the mall and not be the mall that all the stores are in? I said, now they're going to be mad because now I'm going to be their competition. I'm going to do it way better than they've ever done. So then, which then prompted my information in my brain. Once again, remember, scanning. Dana, how do you come up with all these extraordinary ideas? You just look at what everybody's doing. What businesses right now in retail are winning? The Walmarts, the Amazon. Well, what do Walmart and Amazon have in common? They don't create any of their own product. They actually, their business is funded on other people's product. I said, so you know what? This is what we're going to do. I spoke to my dad about it. I said, with CurlBible, this is, and I feel like it was a little challenge for me and him because I saw once, men don't think beauty products are like profitable. I'm like, are you stupid, Dad? Like, he was like, it's not a need, it's not a necessity. I said, call that client right now. Ask her, did she walk out the house without putting anything on her face or her skin or her body? She's gonna say no. It is a necessity. I said, you don't just find it a necessity because you walk around here ashy. But what was interesting, I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finally give a voice to every single woman who has a beauty business. Everyone is making products in their home. They're making deep conditioners. They're making their own nail polishes. They're making their own lashes. So because they don't have followers and they don't have a platform, I'm going to give them mine because I'm not really interested in the manufacturing, making products. I really don't want to deal with that.
Everyone has a niche. Right?
Yeah, I don't want to deal with that. Like you got that. But now they pay us a slotting fee to be on the CurlBible platform to sell to our millions of people that we're able to distribute their product to. So they pay me a slotting fee. Once again, where the heck did I learn the slotting fee, bro? Walmart. You know how you walk into Walmart and you see that cool touchdown made out of the Pepsis or the Coca-Colas?
Right, yeah.
That's called a slotting fee. You had to pay, like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, whatever brand had to pay to be put in that space. Mm-hmm. It's real estate, but I sell real estate on the internet. So what ended up happening, I went ahead and I said, okay, if people pay, or even the end caps are super profitable too, because that means somebody doesn't have to go into an actual aisle to see your product. It's already in the outside. So the likeliness of someone seeing your product on the end cap, then going in and finding it in the midst of all of them, you pay for that extra advertisement, you pay for that slotting fee. So I said, okay, if I'm going to go ahead and give this promotion and advertisement and let them be on the platform, they're going to pay CurlBible a slotting fee anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, depending on the type of advertisement that they want. We now have over 250 women who sell their products on CurlBible. Where did I learn that? I ain't a genius. I just watched what other people did and said, whoop, I could do that. So I'm not a genius, but I move faster than a lot of people. And I'm confident, that's all. I'm confident that if I do it, it'll work. Who's going to tell me it's not?
Very true. I like that.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
No, absolutely. I feel like we've covered a lot of stuff. Is there anything that you want to share with anyone out there? Like anything that you feel like we haven't touched on?
No, just I would love to just reiterate, like, there are extraordinary people out here looking to help. Angela, you've built an extraordinary platform with purpose, and it's doing exactly that. And so I just encourage, like, all the women that are watching, that are listening, don't sit here and say you want to be like us or you aspire to accomplish the things that we have. Just ask us for help. We're actually people out here trying to do it. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to cost you. You feel me? It's definitely going to cost you. I'm going to keep it a bean, because what we've done and what we've invested into building our platforms cost us. But we're here to help. And so a lot of the time we sit here watching people on Instagram inspired, but you're not doing nothing about it. You don't have to be out here self-made. It ain't cool. So utilize people like us. We're here to help. Not everybody out here offering opportunity, offering to be on our platform to share it. They're not doing that.
They're not going to give you the formula.
They not.
Some people will.
But the thing is, when it comes to formula, there's nothing to compete about. We individuals, we're two separate people who God created a specific purpose for. But that doesn't mean we're not supposed to help each other throughout the journey.
Very true.
And so I just encourage anybody watching, like, that's dead. That trying to do it on your own, that's dead. It's lonely. It's honestly not fun. It's cooler to sit there. We were in the console and we were strategizing, thinking of cool ideas. And then she was like, oh, and then we can do this. And then she has prior knowledge off of stuff that I don't know, which then just enhanced my idea. And then she enhanced my...
It's fun.
It's fun. This is cool. This is freaking cool, guys. Get with someone. Follow, actually, like, get under someone's wing who's willing to teach you, who's willing to, like, just give you what is it that they have, and you be willing to serve in exchange. And I think that's really important. Like, I'm proud and I'm so blessed and honored to see this come to life. And just every single time I see you, like, promoting your app and stuff like that, it just makes me so happy. because I know 5 years from now, sis.
Oh, we pushing.
It just makes me so happy to see what it is, what's happening. Like, yo, to see you win. Oh my gosh, the chills that I got off my body. It makes me so happy to see you doing the damn thing. And I'm just really proud of you. And watching this all come to life. And I told you, I remember texting you one day. I'm like, yo, when this comes to life, it's going to feel so much cooler and better when we can actually see that you created something out of nothing with who you are and your ideas. Like, it's cool.
Thank you.
So let's finish off with this. I'd like to hear your purpose, and I'd like for you to also feed the audience, the folks who are out there who might not have a purpose or feel like there's not one out there for them, like how to pull them out of that hole.
My purpose is to educate families on how to build financial wealth. It was a family meeting that changed my life. Me, my dad, it was just us in the beginning, and we continued to add other family members once they were ready and they were on board with a part of this vision. And I just remember every single morning at 5 a.m. we get on the phone and we talk about three things: what happened yesterday, what are we going to do today, and what are we doing to feed the end goal today. And that changed my life. Every single day being trained to consistently think about progress. And if I can teach other families how to communicate effectively, give them hope, give them blueprints, teach them whether they're licensed jumping jack tax, whether they get a mobile application from us, whether they get their credit fixed. Use us and what you've seen my family do when we were once broken and now we are successful financially and spiritually. Let me teach you, because we need more strong Black families in this community. Shout out to the women. But they can't do it alone, and they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to. But education and schooling starts in the household. It's what you teach them at 5 years old. It's what they're watching you do that tells them who they're going to be, that gives them that confidence to walk into school and say, I won't be bullied. Because my mom don't play that. She built me up to be strong, and most importantly, I saw her be strong. Mm-hmm. I saw her be strong, and mom and dad have a constructive argument and get to the point and have a solution. I've seen that happen. So when I get out into the world, it's not foreign for me to go ahead and just duplicate. That is my purpose. My purpose is to literally bring the families back together again, to make sure we raising up entrepreneurs, not sending them off to the world to get raised. And if you're not sure what your purpose is, just start something. It'll come. Just start something. Have a relationship with the Lord where He can talk to you. And usually your relationship with God grants you access to information that no one else has. And it'll reveal itself. I can't tell you to do something to go find your purpose. Just do a lot. I've done a lot. I've done a lot trying to get here and trying to find my way. But it's only through progress, and you'll naturally see. Wouldn't you say? You just had to try a lot.
Purpose is definitely something. Sometimes I feel like I hear people like, I don't know what my purpose is. I mean, it's literally just the thing that you love to do. Like, if no one was watching and no one was there, like, what do you love doing? And it's such a simple question that I feel like sometimes people have such a hard time figuring out. It's like, I don't know. You know, like I knew at 9, like where I wanted to go just by observing. I was like, I like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's taking the things you like. And like she said, if it's not, you're not sure, do many things until you figure it out. No, who says you can't? You know what I mean? Like, you could do as much as you want in this world and just keep figuring it out.
Yeah, because once again, representation really matters, because I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. I only wanted to be a surgeon or a doctor because those were the only successful people in our community. That's the only reason why I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. Now, I know I love blood and I love surgery. I love watching it, like literally, like for real. No, seriously, like it's like people don't know that about me. Like, I'll be on YouTube watching a heart surgery, watching all that kind of stuff. It's something that I'm interested in, but not necessarily meant that I have to do it or that's my purpose. I just enjoy it. It's my vice. You know what I mean? But most importantly,
blood is your vice.
Huh?
You love blood.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
No, the idea of cutting the idea of cutting into someone and after you close them up, they're supposed to be better than they came. What? If that ain't extraordinary, I don't know what is. Yeah. And so to me, that's the coolness that I like of it. But representation really matters, because I only wanted to be what was quote unquote a white man's job because that's what I saw on TV. And I thought that was going to prompt me the result of not being poor or broke.
Right.
So I thought, oh, I'm going to be a doctor. Lo and behold, I get to pre-med, get to school, and I drop out the first 3 months. But now, if I like that and I enjoy that, and that's why I encourage entrepreneurship, first find a need-based business in order to have the money to do what you like. One day I'll own a hospital because I'll be able to buy it. I'll be able to fund one. I'll be able to open a clinic. I can do whatever I want now. Now that I have money, I can pay for my enjoyment. I can pay for my luxury. I can pay for time somewhere I've never been. I can pay for whatever I want now that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm the controller of my finances. So I can't be a surgeon. So I'll go ahead and buy a hospital one day and watch the surgeries from up top.
That's dope. Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. It's been great.